Deep within the climate-controlled vaults of Yale University's Voynich library lies a small, unassuming volume bound in weathered vellum. It has no title on its spine. It bears no author's name on its cover. Yet, for over a century, this single object, catalogued simply as MS 408, has served as the ultimate cryptographic mountain, a silent fortress that has repelled the assaults of the world's most brilliant minds. It has outlasted the codebreakers of 2 world wars, defeated the most sophisticated computer algorithms of the digital age, and left the world's leading linguists in a state of terminal frustration. We call it the Voynich Manuscript, and it is quite possibly the most mysterious book in human history. To hold a facsimile of its 240 pages is to step into a fever dream captured in ink. The script is elegant, a flowing, cursive hand that seems to dance across the parchment with a confidence that suggests its author was writing a shopping list rather than an unbreakable cipher. There are roughly 30 distinct characters in this alphabet, a language dubbed Voynich. Yet, despite its fluid appearance, not a single person alive can read a word of it. It is a book that refuses to be read, a message from the past that remains locked in a tomb of its own making. But the text is only half of the enigma. Interspersed among the dense blocks of unidentified prose are hundreds of hand-colored illustrations that defy the laws of nature. There are botanical sections featuring bizarre flora, plants with jagged leaves and bulbous roots that look like nightmarish chimeras, as if someone had grafted the stems of one species onto the roots of another. There are astrological diagrams of swirling stars and celestial maps that correspond to no known sky. Most unsettling of all are the sequences of small, pale, nude women, depicted bathing in complex networks of green pools and interconnected tubes that look like a cross between a medieval spa and a biological laboratory. It is a visual language that feels familiar, yet remains fundamentally alien, a window into a world that exists only within these pages. For years, skeptics argued the book was a modern forgery, a clever hoax designed to part a foolish collector from his gold. But in 2009, science finally weighed in. Radiocarbon dating of the vellum confirmed that the parchment was manufactured between 1404 and 1438. This is no modern trick. The goatskin and calfskin were prepared with the high craftsmanship of the early 15th century, likely in northern Italy or Central Europe. The mystery is real, and it is 6 centuries old. The manuscript's known history reads like the plot of an esoteric detective novel. It first emerged from the shadows in the late 16th century, at the court of the Holy Roman Emperor Rudolf II in Prague. Rudolf was a man obsessed with the occult, a patron of alchemists and astronomers who sought the secrets of the universe in the strange and the macabre. He reportedly purchased the book for 600 gold ducats, a staggering sum, equivalent to roughly 2 kilograms of solid gold. The seller was rumored to be the English astrologer John Dee, or perhaps his associate, the scryer Edward Kelly, who claimed the book was the work of the medieval philosopher Roger Bacon. From there, the manuscript passed through a succession of keepers, each more perplexed than the last. It was handed to the emperor's personal physician, Jacobus de Tepenitz, who left his signature on the first page, visible only today under the ghostly glow of ultraviolet light. It moved into the hands of alchemists and university rectors, eventually being sent to Rome in 1665. A letter from that year still survives, tucked within the pages, pleading with the great Jesuit polymath Athanasius Kircher to decode the script. But even Kircher, a man who claimed to have decoded the Egyptian hieroglyphs, was silenced by the Voynich. For the next 240 years, the book vanished. It lay buried in the dark, dusty archives of the Jesuit order, surviving the rise and fall of empires and the confiscation of church properties. It wasn't until 1912 that it resurfaced, discovered in a chest of rare books at the Villa Mondragone in Italy by the man whose name it now bears, Wilfrid Voynich. Voynich, a Polish revolutionary turned rare book dealer, knew he had found something extraordinary. He spent the rest of his life trying to unlock its secrets, but the manuscript guarded them, with a cold, paper-thin tenacity. What makes the Voynich Manuscript so maddening to researchers is its linguistic paradox. If it is a hoax, it is a work of terrifying genius. When linguists apply Zipf's law, a mathematical formula that dictates the frequency of words in natural languages, the Voynich text passes with flying colors. It has the same structural hallmarks as English, Latin, or Hebrew. The word lengths follow a natural curve. The letter combinations are highly systematic and predictable. It feels like a language. And yet, it behaves in ways no human language should. In 240 pages of dense, handwritten script, there are no corrections. There are no crossed-out words, no blots, no margin adjustments where the scribe changed their mind. It was written with a terrifying, fluid confidence, as if the author were transcribing a thought as easily as breathing. But within that flow, there is extreme, nonsensical repetition. Certain words appear 3 or 4 times in a single line. Word, word, word. A structure that exists in no known tongue. The theories regarding its origin are as varied as the drawings in its pages. Some believe it is a highly sophisticated cipher, masking a natural language, like High German, or an extinct dialect of Hebrew, perhaps using a multi-layered encipherment that we simply haven't the keys to unlock. Others suggest it is a conlang, a constructed language created centuries before the likes of Esperanto, based on a forgotten philosophical classification of ideas. Then there is the darker possibility, the elaborate hoax. Was it created by John Dee and Edward Kelly, specifically to swindle the eccentric Emperor Rudolph? Did they use a grill technique to generate pages of gibberish that looked profoundly meaningful to an eye hungry for secret knowledge? If so, the effort required was monumental. To maintain such a complex artificial linguistic structure over hundreds of pages of expensive vellum without a single slip-up is a feat of discipline that borders on the superhuman. The Voynich Manuscript has become a psychological mirror. When a botanist looks at it, they see a lost herbal of plants from a forgotten world. When a cryptographer looks, they see an unbreakable military code. When a linguist looks, they see a ghost of a dead tongue. We see in it what we want to find, but the book itself remains indifferent. It is a silent witness to a lost system of human thought, a relic from an age where the line between science and magic was as thin as the parchment it is written on. It sits in its dark vault at Yale, a 600-year-old riddle that reminds us, with every unreadable page, that there are still things in this world that we are not yet meant to understand.